lucky Anakin didn't show up. The way you're fighting, you wouldn't have lasted long.
So, should we go and help her? No, she's got this. No! No, I don't!
God dang!
So, Clone Wars has been back weeks, and we're finally at the pivotal climax of the show's return. The Siege of Mandalore. And there's a problem. And no, I'm not talking about the questionable Filoni tactics on display here. More on that later. No, what I'm talking about is a story issue that, for some reason, no one is talking about. In typical Filoni fashion, the cowboy has introduced a glaring plot hole into the lead-up to Revenge of the Sith. First, some context. The Siege of Mandalore kicks off after Ahsoka and Bo-Katan find out the undead Hornhead is back on Mandalore. Understandably, everyone wants to kick his head in, so a motley team of badasses are assembled for the job. Their objective is to go in, take out the drag-wearing Goths, capture the Saves Zendari, and either capture or kill the unkillable Hornhead. However, right as the A-Team is about to start the kickoff, Revenge of the Sith happens, and Kenobi and Skywalker rush out to save Sidious's Chancellor Palpatine.
Look, Mr. Saltine, I don't tell you how to threaten your blonde kid, so why don't you go back over there to your sit and spin and let me do my job?
This is where the plot hole occurs, in typical Filoni fashion. In the movie, after offing Saruman, rescuing Mr. Saltine, letting the Russian imposter escape, and somehow not completely destroying a 100-ton ship via defying the laws of physics.
He is the chosen one.
That thing does not obey the laws of physics at all.
Kenobi and Skywalker are shown doing nothing for several days. No, literally. They sit around having meetings, scheming, and counter-scheming for several days.
They're schemers. Schemers trying to control their little worlds.
All the while, Ahsoka is leading a massive military operation in hunt for Hornhead. You know, the guy who was cut in half, somehow didn't die, has gotten in multiple fights with Kenobi, survived getting mauled by Sidious, and a bunch of hyperbolic crap in a comic that may or may not get turned into an arc. And they want to sit around doing nothing? Look, I'm sorry, but if we look at this realistically, the very moment Kenobi and Skywalker were free, they'd be back on Mandalore faster than fleas on a Wookiee. There is absolutely no reason they would sit around doing nothing on Blade Runner Planet. And sadly, I don't think there's going to be an explanation for why they didn't rush back beyond just messing up the timeline some more. And what's a little infuriating here is that I'm the only one who seems to have noticed this, even way back last year. I had planned to make this video back in December, but due to a new semester and wanting to give TCW a chance to explain itself, I put it off. But unfortunately, the master of bad retcons and Death Star-sized plot holes has once again shown himself incapable of staying consistent. Also, what is with this show and having air cav units flying at enemies dug in tighter than Alabama ticks, armed with AA units?
You're hit. You're bleeding, man. I ain't got time to bleed.
No, seriously, this crap of choppers flying into flak and missiles without proper use of escorts or ship support from orbit has happened at least 3 times now. Has everyone forgotten that the Republic has some perfectly serviceable ships with giant cannons just sitting in there in space? Or that they have some really good commando units that they could totally drop behind enemy lines to find out what their defenses are? How about some laser-guided missions? Or some tactical exterminatus action? I know they're not trying to blow up the state, but this is freaking Star Wars. We have the capacity to blow up stuff with satellite-guided missiles today. I'm pretty sure these guys from a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, capable of building crap like this, could totally do some very accurate fire missions. For pity's sake, we used battleships to soften up the German defenses prior to D-Day. Unsuccessful, sure, but the point still stands, and this was back in 1944. Okay, so how do we fix all this? Well, it is actually pretty simple. They don't know Maul is on the planet until just prior to Order 66, when he makes his move on Ahsoka. The thing is, they don't need Maul to be there to justify a Republic invasion. Instead, Death Watch just being there would be enough. Over the course of the show, they have done things that would classify them as terrorists by our modern community, and for good reason. They have attacked and illegally imprisoned both Republic and Separatist personnel, are connected with crime syndicates who have staged terrorist-style attacks on the public, and their leader is a wanted superpowered war criminal. And to top it off, they staged an illegal coup and were party to the murder of a legitimate political leader, thus putting thousands of other worlds at risk. So, yeah, the Republic and the Separatists have both good enough reason to intervene and invade. If anything, the Republic needs to invade to keep Mandalore and the thousands of worlds aligned with it away from the Separatists. So the invasion can still kick off, half the A-Team can run off to star in a movie, and Snips and Hornhead can have their little fight. Because Maul doesn't reveal himself until probably around the time Kenobi was being uncivilized and Anakin the Team Killer, they don't have a good enough reason to immediately go back to Mandalore.
Snips can handle himself. We get other to smoke. Then you just said to me,
But instead, retconning Dave has once again retconned. Please don't mess up Lone Wolf and Cub in Space Season 2.